Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's lesson. Let's go ahead and go over our lesson objective. So our lesson objective for today we will make a plan to solve one-step word problems. All right, let's go ahead and review our vocabulary word. We're going to go over what is a word problem. So a word problem is a few sentences describing a real-life situation where a problem needs to be solved using math. All right, let's go ahead and go over into our first word problem. Or actually, before we do that, let's go over a UPS check. So UPS check is a way to help us solve word problems. And what UPS check stands for is understand, what do we know about the problem? That's our wick and wink, what I know, what I need to know. A plan, so once we figure out what I need to know, we need to make a plan. Then we go into the S portion, which is solve. So we're going to go ahead and after we make our plan, we're going to solve our problem and then check. We're going to check our work to see if we did it correctly, if everything makes sense. For today's lesson, we are going to focus on the plan portion of our UPS check. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go into our word problem for today. So I'm actually going to X my face out for this. So our word problem says the total amount of rain that fell in Beaumont, Texas in 2 years was 282 centimeters. In the first year, 185 centimeters of rain fell. How many more centimeters of rain fell in the first year than in the second year? So let's go over our understand part, our U part of our UPS check. So we're going to go over our WIC, our what I know. So what I know is the total amount of rain that fell in Beaumont, Texas in 2 years was 282 centimeters. So we have that. Our total rain is equal to 282 centimeters. I also know that in the first year, 185 centimeters of rain fell. So I add that. First year is equal to 185 centimeters of rain. Now, what do I need to know? What I need to know, our WIC. How many more centimeters of rain fell in the first year than in the second year, right? That's what I need to know. That is our question. So now that we know what I need to know, let's figure out a plan to figure out our WIC, our what I need to know. So I'm going to go ahead and first, we're going to get into this in just a second, but I'm first going to go ahead and draw a strip diagram. You don't have to use a strip diagram, but I like to use it for problems sometimes. So what we're going to look at is I know that we have to look at what I know. So I know that I have a total rain of 282 centimeters in my 2 years, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw a box up here. And I know the total amount of rain that I have is 282 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to put that up here, the total rain. Then I also know that in the first year of in Beaumont, Texas, I had 185 centimeters of rain. So I'm going to go and put this right here to kind of show that that's part of it. So in year one, I had 185 centimeters of rain in the first year. Now, let's look at what I need to know. Well, actually, yeah, let's look at what I need to know. How many more centimeters of rain fell in the first year than the second year? So I have to figure out how much is in the second year. Do I know that information? No, I don't. So that is a question mark. That is in our second year. Okay, now from here, I have to go ahead and figure out, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to add, subtract, multiply, or divide? So I'm looking at the total number, the total rain that I had, and in the first year I had 185. So in order to figure out how much rain fell in the second year, I got to figure out what is the difference, because this much rain right here was 185. So I know that, and I have to figure out how much is left over, right? What is the difference that I have? So I have to take away 185 from 282 to figure out how much is here, right? How much is in this portion right here. Right? Okay, so I need to take away. So now let's look at that. So I know if I'm going to take away, I'm going to look at this chart right here, and it's going to be one of these two, because these are my two operations for taking away, either subtraction or division. Okay, so I know it has to be either subtraction or division. Now I have to figure out which one it could be. So I now need to figure out, read it. Do we not have equal groups, or do we have equal groups? So we do not have equal groups. So I'm not seeing anything about groups. So it seems like that's what it is. So that's going to be this right here because I don't have any groups to talk about. We only have like 2 different numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and circle that. Now, the portions that are that have been selected have been this one right here. The subtraction covers my categories of taking away and not having equal groups. So subtraction is what my plan is going to be. So I need to now subtract. So that is my plan. I need to subtract. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and go over our lesson objective for today. So our lesson objective for today was that we made a plan to solve a one-step word problem. And we're going to go into later on how we're going to go ahead and solve in a later video. But I hope this was helpful for figuring out how to make a plan to solve a one-step problem. All right. Thank you all so much. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you later. Bye.